as a segue into talking about passion and supporting all of us in this movement as we push out in new and unexpected directions to contribute to it in whatever way we feel called on. And I'm going to use that to introduce Kai, who I've known for a couple of years, who has had a very burning vision in his heart about using direct action to build support for this movement. And a couple weeks ago, my husband woke me up and said, Kai, your friend Kai, he just got arrested in the Supreme Court. Filming, you got to get up, you got to see, maybe they're going to call you. And he was, of course, scared somehow. I don't know, he's got problems. But anyway, so I just am very honored to introduce Kai to tell us about his passion, what he's done, what he's accomplished so far, and the passion going forward, because he's got a really exciting project that he's launching.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary Beth. Mary Beth is my movement sister. I love her very much. It's great to be up here with you. How y'all doing? How's everybody? I just got here. I came from a training that we were doing in 99 Rise. We are a progressive movement building organization that's fighting to end corruption and win real democracy like all of you, and we're using nonviolent civil resistance to do that. I came from a training mostly with young folks, college students at Occidental College. And that's right, Oxy in the house. It's an absolutely gorgeous day outside, right? When I was driving here, I was thinking these days in LA after it rains are very special. And here we are. We're inside. We're at a conference about money and politics and winning a constitutional amendment to end corruption. And some would say that's tragic, but to me it's beautiful because it tells me something that all of you really love our country and you're willing to work and you're willing to fight to win a democracy that gives us a chance at a livable future. And yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Here, here. And it also tells me that I don't need to spend any of the short time I have to talk about, what we're fighting for, right? Why we need to be in this fight. I want to use my time to tell you what I think we have to do if we want to win. And not just in 15 years or 10 years, but in 3 or 4 or 5 years. And so the title of my talk is It's Time for You to Go to Jail. Time for you to go to jail. So why am I here? I'm here in part because I grew up in a broken family and I faced a choice either to bail out and make it worse or to reach out and to try to make things better, bring people together. And when I made the latter decision, it made things better for me and other people I love, and I decided that that's the kind of man I wanted to be. And when I learned to organize and to take nonviolent action together with others, I found a tool to confront and to try to heal the injustices of our broken world, and I decided that that was the kind of work that I wanted to do in the world. And so being here for me is a continuation of that path. But I think I'm also here because, in the sense that I was asked to be here, because what Mary Beth was talking about, that 2 months ago, I went into the chamber of the Supreme Court and I stood up and I spoke out against corruption for about 15 seconds before they tackled me. And I was arrested, but we got it on video for the first time in the history of our country that there's been video from the Supreme Court. Thanks to the courage and ingenuity of those who shall go unnamed. And when I got out of jail the next day, I was just blown away by the response. People across the country who were so moved. And in the couple months since then, thousands of people around the country have reached out to us at 99 Rise and said, I didn't really have hope, but I want to stand up and I want to take action now. How can I take nonviolent action? What can I do to move things forward? And to me, there's a lesson in that I think is important for our movement, because we have to ask, what's our greatest challenge as a movement? Now, is it that people don't believe that we're right, that our cause is not just? People don't believe that we should get money out of politics? No. That's what we tell ourselves again and again, these poll numbers, right? When I was marching in New Hampshire with Lawrence Lessig on the New Hampshire Rebellion in January, which is a great time to march in New Hampshire, he would always cite this poll, right? That 96% of Americans said we need to reduce the corruption of money in politics. And cite this other number that many of you have probably heard as well, that 91% of people in that same poll, right, said that they don't believe it's possible. So that's a huge base of support, 96%. I mean, there's no opposition that could be strong enough that you can't overcome it if you got that kind of support. But they're just with us in spirit. They're not with us in action. And so our challenge is, how do we move those people to get off the sidelines and to get into the fight? Because if we do that, we're going to win. And to me, there is no tool, there is no force more powerful to do that than militant nonviolent direct action, than escalating nonviolent action. To me, that's part of the story of this country. If we want to look at the key democratic struggles that have advanced progress in our country, whether it's the abolitionists in ending slavery, or the suffragists in winning the right to vote for women, or the civil rights movement in ending segregation and Jim Crow, or today, the fight for immigrant rights, led by the Dreamers and other undocumented folks, if we want to look at the common thread that has led to progress, it has been that people have reached a point where they decided they were willing to put their bodies on the line, they were willing to put their freedom on the line and make deeper sacrifices to dramatize the urgency of the crisis and to disrupt business as usual. And I believe that that's our challenge. We have to follow in their footsteps. We have to follow in their footsteps. Now, why does it work? If you told me there's a problem in my town, and we need to do something about it, and I'm gonna sign a petition. I want you to sign a petition. I would say, hey, that's cool, brother. I'll sign. I'm gonna go back to the basketball game I'm watching, because I don't know about you, but I'm missing the NBA playoffs, and that's a problem. But if you came to me and you said, that's right, I gave that up. If you came to me and you said there's a problem, I'm going to go meet with city council, I'd say, oh, okay, that's cool. Not a lot of people do that. I want to back you up. But if you said, we've been doing this work for a while, right? And now I'm going to march 200 miles, okay, from this place to that town and with other people to show folks how serious this is. And when we get there, we're going to sit in at that office and they do something. I might say, well, man, that's crazy. But this is me, right? So I'd be like, oh, hell yeah. Now you're talking, right? Now, most people, they would say maybe, hey, that's kind of crazy, right? But once they get over that, which is often a response of their fear, they think about making that sacrifice themselves, then they're going to pay attention. They're going to realize what you're doing is serious, right? And this is the power that we have when we make deeper sacrifices, when we're willing to fast, when we're willing to march hundreds of miles, when we're willing to risk arrest and disrupt business as usual. And the power that it gives us is to demand that people pay attention, to focus the attention of the country on what's happening, of the media and of the public. And when you're willing to take the kind of risks that are involved in making these sacrifices, it gives you the power to disrupt business as usual and to have options at your disposal that you can't have if you're not willing to risk arrest, that you can't have if you aren't willing to make a deeper sacrifice, and not just in time and effort, which is crucial, but beyond that. And that's the challenge that we have. And if we use this power, I believe we have tremendous potential to win on this fight and to win soon. If you go back to that poll, right, the 96% and the 91, the number that we forget a lot of times is that 5%, right? The 5% who believe that we're right and believe that change is possible. Now that's millions of people in that 5%, and everybody who's in our movement is part of that. But if you gave me just a fraction, just a small fraction of those people who are in this fight and are doing good work, and believe that this is critical for our country, for our future, just a small fraction, maybe 10,000, maybe a little bit bigger, 50,000. If you gave me those folks and they said, you know what, we're going to continue all the valuable work that we're doing, but we're going to take it a step further, and we're willing to risk arrest. We're going to do sit-ins across the country in the offices of members of Congress or of state legislatures. We're going to march hundreds of miles. We're going to fast. If you gave me that and people started doing that, I guarantee you, within months, this issue would have moved from the back pages of newspapers, which is sort of a metaphor these days, to the front pages, right? And it would have moved from the back of people's minds to their kitchen table conversations, if people do that anymore, going with these old school metaphors. And it would have moved from the bottom of people's priority lists and polls, which still happen, to the top, okay? And the people who right now believe that this is important, that this needs to happen, but don't believe it's possible and aren't willing to do anything about it, would see that there are Americans who are stepping up and doing something that are going to make change, and they would be forced to take a side. Because that's what happens with nonviolent action, is it moves us in our hearts and our guts. and we realize what's happening here. I have to decide which side am I. I can't just be a passive bystander anymore. And as long as we remain nonviolent, and as long as our cause is just, which it is, and we will be nonviolent, then they're going to come to our side. They're going to come to our side. So I've done a lot of different kinds of organizing work. I've worked on field political campaigns. I've done letter writing campaigns. I've worked for elected officials. I haven't always just been like a fire-breathing radical. So I respect and value all the different kinds of work that are going on, and we need it all. And our movement is rich in resources, legal resources, and research resources, media resources, and we have a lot of people, right? But the missing piece to me is this element of escalating nonviolent action. And that's what I'm calling you all who are here and whoever's watching this live streaming, right? Who believe that this fight is important and who are willing to sacrifice to make it happen, to join us in this kind of effort, to take this kind of action. Because once we step up to do that, it's going to dramatically accelerate the pace and the possibility of change. So we're going to continue to try to lead by example in this direction in 99 Rise. And the next step that we're going to take is 3 weeks from today in Los Angeles at City Hall. We're going to begin a California March for Democracy. And we're going to march 480 some miles in the spirit of Granny Lee, the spirit of Lawrence Lessig in New Hampshire, on the rebellion, in the spirit of Cesar Chavez and the farm workers and their farm worker pilgrimage, 480 miles over the mountains and the valleys of California to Sacramento, to demand that the leaders of our state, the biggest state in the nation, publicly acknowledge the crisis of corruption and take immediate action to end it, beginning with the first step of being perhaps what would be the first state in the country to issue a formal call for an Article 5 convention to produce an amendment to end corruption. We're backing up the work of the great organizations that are leading this struggle as a whole, especially Wolfpack, that has advanced the resolution AJR1 for this purpose, which has already moved through the Assembly. And if they haven't met our demand, when we get to Sacramento, we're going to nonviolently occupy the Capitol until they do. Because we need to show folks in this country that we can't wait. We can't wait for change, okay? We've been petitioning and we've been calling, and for years, some of you I know in this room have been in this fight for a long time already, right? It's no shame in that. It's be proud, right? Been in this fight for a long time, okay? And we haven't won the fundamental change that we need. In fact, things are going the opposite direction. Citizens United, McCutcheon, the corruption's getting worse. Okay, so it's time for us to go to the next level. And I know that if we win this fight, and not only win that change, but do so in a way that inspires people by the vision that we have and the sacrifice that we make. We do so in a bold way, that we can send a message of hope across the country, that the tide is going to turn. The tide is going to turn. And so I ask all of you to join us and to support us on this march, even if you can only walk for a day. I'm going to walk every day, every mile of it if I can. There are folks that are going to be with us for 2 weeks or for a weekend, or if you can join us in Sacramento and be part of that occupation if necessary. You can go to California to marchfordemocracy.org to sign up to support us in any way. And we're doing this in alliance with many of the organizations that are here in the room, with MOVI, with the California Campaign for Clean Money. Am I getting that right? Sorry. With Wolfpack. Marchfordemocracy.org. I'm sorry.
Our live streaming listeners told us that your mic was not close.
Oh, thank you guys out there. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you caught the gist of it.
38 of them right now.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. The title of my talk, It's Time to Go to Jail. Marchfordemocracy.org. You can go there, you can sign up to join us. And we're doing this with Root Strikers. Lawrence Lessig is going to come on the march with us for at least a day. Dolores Huerta is going to come on the march with us for at least a day. Mary Beth is coming for at least a week. You heard it here. But she said that. She said that. Brother Trent Lang is going to be out on the march with us, right?
I signed them too, Kirk.
Boom. There it is. There it is. So, look, you guys, when I say it's time to go to jail, that's a metaphor for it's time to make some deeper sacrifices, to show people the urgency of this fight, and to show them how serious it is, and to inspire them that somebody is willing to step up and do whatever it takes. And if enough of us who believe in this fight start doing that, I believe that things are going to change very quickly, and that we can change the whole political climate around this issue and stop fighting within the limits of that climate as it exists. So thank you so much for your time. I hope that you guys will join us and keep moving in this direction. Thank you.